Now, a couple of weeks ago on one of Sydney's coastal walks, I was there walking along, watching out for whales migrating north. I was standing on the cliff tops there and just off the shore, maybe 200 metres from me, I saw this humpback whale launch completely out of the water, fully breach, crash and splash back down into the ocean. I got to say, I'd seen plenty of whales before, up close sometimes, but it's the first time I'd seen this, and it kind of took my breath away. It was awesome. Now, many of you who've seen this sort of thing will know exactly the feeling I'm talking about. So have a look at these pictures from this week, earlier this week, off the southern coast of Australia, just near the South Australian-Victorian border. Got some whales just going silly here. Wow. Yeah, amazing stuff, all right. And I share that with you because those whales, we're told, were breaching right within the zone of that massive offshore wind farm project we talked about last night. Right where 77 massive offshore wind turbines are supposed to be drilled into the ocean floor. And today, the Federal Climate and Energy Minister was up in Newcastle in New South Wales declaring another offshore wind zone, marking an area off the Hunter Coast where billions of dollars will be spent installing hundreds of these huge offshore wind turbines. And Chris Bowen couldn't be more excited.
The Hunter will be a renewable energy superpower, but we'll do it right. We'll do it with the community. We'll bring the community with us on this journey. So I declare Hunter officially an offshore wind zone with the Port of Newcastle at the centre of Australia's renewable energy future. Today is a great day. Thank you for coming.
Are they just being polite, or are they turkeys celebrating Christmas? I don't know. Well, not everyone is on board, though. As we've shown before, whale tourism operators in those waters, as well as local residents, are deeply worried.
Maybe a good idea, but it's a good idea in the wrong place.
We got to the meeting and I was expecting to have people there to answer questions, like where's coming ashore, what impact's going to be on the marine life. Lots and lots of questions that everybody had. None of them could be answered.
If this is where we live, like, we should have some consultation. The residents should be able to voice their concerns.
Norah Head Surfing Reserve was not consulted. We found out the same way everybody else did.
But the government is not in any mood to bend on this stuff. Despite the hundreds of billions of dollars being spent on the renewable transition forcing up electricity prices, despite new estimates saying it'll cost more than $1.5 trillion over the next couple of decades to get to net zero, that is $1,500 billion. And despite experts saying what we really need is stacks more gas-fired peaking generators, and despite the concerns of locals, Labor's renewable evangelism is going full steam ahead.
If people say they don't believe in renewable energy and they don't believe in offshore wind, sure, they're not going to be happy. But if people say, we get it, we know the renewable energy transformation has to happen, but we would like to see our community brought with us and our views considered, their views certainly have been considered.
See what I mean about evangelism? It's all about believers and non-believers, and the tiny little hiccups like eye-watering costs and what they're doing to families, businesses and the economy, and the trifling problem of our electricity already being unreliable, and the fact it's impossible with current technology to fully rely on renewables. Well, all these little problems are just ignored by the believers. And Sky News put to Chris Bowen the points I raised last night about the Prime Minister in Germany signing up to the so-called Climate Club, and how that climate action grouping actually wants to push for explicit carbon pricing across the globe and wants to punish countries with tariffs if they won't impose carbon prices. The minister denied that this means the Albanese government supports a global carbon price.
No, and that's not an accurate reflection of the role of the Climate Club. The Climate Club, Australia's decision to join, is reflective of us being invited back to the top table of international climate discussions under this government. It would have been inconceivable under our predecessors that we would have been asked to join the Climate Club. Not only has Australia joined, we were asked to join. Germany in particular was very, very keen for us to join. Now, the Climate Club, I wouldn't overstate it. The Climate Club is not the answer to the world's climate problems, but it has a role to play in sorting out how countries can work together, particularly with industrial decarbonisation, together with our consideration and development of a carbon tariff, a carbon border adjustment mechanism, as they say in economics, which other countries in the EU are well advanced on. The Climate Club is an opportunity to collaborate and share notes on those things. That's what we'll do through the Climate Club.
He's just so happy, isn't he, that the loopy European nations, the ones who have completely destroyed their energy systems, are so keen now to cuddle up to Australia. He's just so chuffed about that. He seems to completely forget that he's supposed to stand up for Australia's interests, not suck up to the others on the diplomatic circuit. Anyway, the Climate Club has said, come on in Australia, come in sucker. And their game is all about a global carbon price. That's their ultimate aim. And Chris Bowen pretends he can just ignore that. He can join the Climate Club, the carbon pricing club, but not get involved in carbon pricing. It's like he's joining a beef and burgundy club, but claims to be a teetotaling vegetarian. I wonder how long it'll be before Labor falls off the carbon tax wagon.